Good morning. So this morning I'm going to try something a little different, and I'm going to try to do this on Saturdays. We'll see how far I get, but so I'm falling really behind on a scrapbook that I'm doing, so I thought I'd do some Scrap Your Stash scrapbook videos. So you'll notice that I do have some full sheets back here, but I do need the full sheets, but I do have some scraps that I'm using up, and this scrapbook is featuring only like 4 colors. There's Blue, Belle, Sapphire, Toffee, and Espresso. That's pretty much all this one is featuring. So you'll see a lot of that on Saturdays. But like the only Blue Belle that I have is this one. And good morning for those of you joining me. So we're gonna try a double layout. See how that goes. It's gonna be a very simple double layout. But yeah, see what we do. So I do have Daisy for background. This is my back paper, so I'm just going to set that aside for right now. We're going to go ahead and start cutting. So I do have, well, I guess this isn't long enough, so I'm going to be using a different one than what I anticipated. So maybe I'll use some Toffee instead. And I have, over off to the side, I have a bunch of Toffee and Sapphire scraps. So I think I'll just grab a Toffee scrap. So the first cut I'm going to make is a 1.5 inch by 12 inch. I didn't measure that one. I thought it was a 12 inch, but it isn't. So this is a 1.5 by 12. Okay, so there's my first cut. Put it up there. Put these aside. Okay. Put that one aside for now. Okay, then I need a 9 by 6. So I'm going to do let's do the 6 first. This is a 12. A full 12 by, I don't know, 10 or so. And because I don't want to put my arm out, I'm being lazy, I'm just going to trim 3 inches off. So there's my 9 by 6, and let's just make sure that that is for sure a 9 by 6. 6 by 9, yep, that works. Okay, so there's that piece. Now off of the scrap of that piece, I have one more to trim, and it's a 3.5 by 2.5. So let's do the 3.5 first. So I think this is a 3 inch. Three and a half by 2.5. Now I'm going to get to the big ones. Now this zip strip I can use because that's Toffee. But the other zip strip is from Lovely, and although it's a very pretty zip strip, it doesn't go with this scrapbook. So the colors are just not quite right. They're sage and canary, I think. So it doesn't quite go, but this one does. So I'm gonna go. I have a whole scrap pile just for this scrapbook. Just so that I don't know if you've noticed, but I haven't used any Toffee or Sapphire really in any of my cards, and that's the reason. So I am going to be doing this one as 1.5 inch strips. So I need 2 1.5 inch strips. So I'm going to go ahead and trim it to 3. And this will be used as scrap for another part of this scrapbook. I'm going to go ahead and trim this down to 10.25. Oh, I guess I do need my arm. I was trying to be lazy. Sometimes it just doesn't work that way, huh? Okay, so 10.25. And then now I'm going to have it down to 1.5. set these two pieces aside. Now I need a 2 1/4 inch piece off of this. I'm going to go ahead and just leave that zip strip on for the moment. There's 2 1/4. And then I need one more strip off of this one, and that will be a 2 1/4, another 2 1/4. So I'm going to start trimming these 2 1/4s down now. This one I'm going to put as 3 1/2. And this one is going to be 11 1/2. So I'm only trimming 1/2 inch off. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on this side of on my other side of my board, because it's just easier to measure 1/2 inch over there. Now, I think that's pretty much all I'm going to do for cutting with the trimmer. Now, I still have some cutting to do with scissors, but that's okay. Okay, so I'm going to bring a daisy in. Now, what I like to do with a daisy is I just like to put one little itty bitty teeny tiny glue dot back here with my Tombow and flip it over. This way it doesn't really move on my mat. Okay, so scrapbooks I do measure. Don't know about you guys, let me know in the comments if you measure or if you don't. I do for most of it, but not all of them. Okay, so I'm gonna bring, here's my cuts. This one I'm gonna leave alone. These 3, or these 4, I believe. Yep, these are the ones. So I think I'm going to use this side and not the star snowflake side. I think I'm just going to use the stripe side. But these are all going to be doved. So I'm going to get my scissors and I'm going to go ahead and dove them. And I want these ones the same and the other ones the same. So I'm going to just line them up and I'm going to cut them at the same time. Just because that way I know it's the same. So cut up from the middle and then cut up from the sides. Here's my doves. They're the same. Just handy, handy, handy. You could also cut one and then cut the other one from the stencil of it. But cut up. I'm cutting about 3/4 inch to 1 inch. See, and that's the back side, so I'm not going to be using that side. So it doesn't go with this color palette. So there's all my doves. This one, I think, so this is Sapphire. There's the light and dark. This is the light, this is the dark, so the front side, back side. I think I'm going to be using the back side because it'll give some contrast to this Sapphire here, which is dark side. So I think I'm going to do that. Now, same with Toffee. See this? Maybe this isn't Toffee. Oh, that'll be just fine. It'll look okay. And I thought it was Toffee that this used. Yeah, it should be Toffee. Well, that's okay. It's just a different variation, I guess. I'm pretty sure this is Toffee. We are going to start with this long strip here. This is 1.5 inches by 12. And I'm going to be coming up about 3 inches. Okay, so the bottom of it is 3 inches. Bottom of it over here is 3 inches. Okay. Now I'm going to do this big thick strip. This is 2 1/4 inch by 11.5 doved. Put my scissors away so I don't stab myself. If you've ever stabbed yourself with those, you know what I'm talking about. Not a pleasant feeling. Since these are going in protectors, I'm going to just tack those down. But this is going to go in 1.5 inches over here from the edge. Tack that down. I'm going to be using this side, so make sure I put the tape on this side. I've done that before a lot. And I'm just going to overlap it. So this one really has no measurement, but it's just overlapped onto B. So I don't really want the edge of B right in the middle of my dovetail here. Sorry guys. Let me raise my light a little bit so that you guys can see a little bit more. I don't want my B right in here. I want it kind of outside of it or inside of it, something like that. So I think I'm going to put this about 1 inch in. That actually looks pretty good. This way, it's not right on the edge there, and you get some overlap. Morning, Shell. Okay, so this one is almost done. We have the big strip here. And again, I'm going to be trying to use the back side, which is the light side. So I'm going to tape on the dark side. And this is your 9x6. I'm going to try to keep these ones under half an hour too for videos, just so you guys know. And this is going to go like right in the middle. So it's going to be about 1.5 inches on either side, right? Because we trimmed 3 inches from the 12. So that's about right. Okay. That'll be perfect. And this is going to have, I don't have my photos yet. So this is a scrapbook for my grandfather. He's turning 100 in August, which is amazing. So I have some longevity on my side. I'm making a scrapbook, and it's going to be, you know, probably 40 pages long or so. And of course, I'm really far behind. But I don't have all the photos yet. So my aunts and uncles and my dad and my cousins and everybody in my family are sending me photos. So I don't have all the photos. So if I did, I would put a 5x7 here. And then we'll work on the title and some of the embellishments here in a minute. So I'm going to move that aside. I'm going to bring the other side in. So this is a double layout. Just going to tack it down so it doesn't move on me. And I just use my rub and remove eraser to get rid of that stuff. So this one is a bit different. And actually I might bring my trimmer back in because we might just trim a daisy down for placeholders. I think that might be a good idea. So let me bring my trimmer back in. I don't have placeholder cards at the moment. Okay, so let's do, I need all 3x4s. So I need 5 of them. So I need, just do a 3 inch here and then trim them down to 4s. 4 and 4. And we'll do that one more time. I'll just have another one left over. Not a big deal. Okay, so this will be scrap for another project. So it's 3, this is 4. So I only need 5 of these, but I gotta cut 6 anyway. So 1 for scrap and 5 for placeholders. Now I could always distress these and use them as mats as well. And I might go ahead and do that. So maybe get some, maybe some Bluebell in here. Grab my Bluebell. And let's find my sponge. That's my Sapphire sponge. Bluebell. Okay. So I'm going to just distress these and then we'll put them on here. So I'm going to go ahead and move this so I don't get any on my daisy for my background. So then I'd have to figure out how to cover it up. I'm just going to quickly distress these, and these are going to be the mats for my photos. Give it a little bit more texture. And we'll probably choose to pop some of these up a little bit. But I cut my sponge. I don't know about you guys, but I cut my sponge. That way I have these nice little fingertip triangles or wedges. They're not quite triangles, but they're wedges that I can hold on to. And I use Bluebell a lot because I'm working on this scrapbook, plus it is a beautiful color, so I use it quite often. And if it gets in the middle of your pieces, it's not that big of a deal because you're going to be covering it up with a photo. And Alice, if you're watching this, don't tell them. Or any of my family, don't tell them. It's a surprise. So the other thing that I'm doing with this scrapbook, so while I do this, I'll explain the scrapbook. So there's going to be a heritage section with him and his siblings. And probably some facts about 1921, because that's when he was born. And all the progressions that happen. So the introduction of, different vehicles, or, the microwave. That's like one of his favorite inventions is the microwave. That's what he told us at his 99th birthday party. We had a virtual birthday party last year for him, and that's what he said. He said that one of the biggest things was the microwave. He said that made such a difference, especially for my grandmother when she was cooking. They had 6 kids, so lots of kids in the family. Okay, so those are all distressed. I could also use my distress oxides on it and use the chip sapphire, which would be very lovely as well. So I'm just going to hold on to these up here. I'm going to take this one. This is, I believe, the 10 1/4. Let's see. Yep, 10 1/4. And I'm going to put it an inch. Let's see. Yep. An inch or 3 inches up. Let's do 3 inches. So it matches. So it's going to go right across to this guy here. At least, well, in my diagram it does. I'm going to rotate these pages, I think. So we'll see though. Kind of like how this one, the first one, looks for the title area. So we'll see. It's about level. Okay, and then, oops, I needed E underneath, which was a short, fat one. I'm just going to prop that up there. Okay, this one is going to go underneath. This is the, let's see, this is a 2 1/4 by 3 1/2, and it's going to go about 3/4 of an inch in, and I'm going to try to make it so that it's the same, I guess 1 1/2 inches up, right? That's what I did before, and 3/4 of an inch in. Right about in there is where I'm going to have it. It's a little bit different, but that's okay. It will do. I'm going to just tack these little flags down, these little doves. And then I have some tape there. Okay, there we go. Okay, now I'm going to wait on my last little bit, because this I'm going to put against one of these like this. Okay, so I'm going to wait on that. That's the journaling square. So I'm going to have 3 of these like this, and 2 of them over here. So it'll be something like so. So let's see here. Let's go ahead. I want this about 2 inches down, and let's do about, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch in to an inch in. I think 3/4 would be good. If you're wondering where I get my patterns for my scrapbooks, I'm very new to scrapbooking. So I get most of my patterns from the Make It From Your Heart books, which I absolutely love. And if you haven't tried them yet, this is volume 1 that I'm working on. I'm just loving these books. So it goes through and it tells you the pattern, it tells you how to cut your papers, which papers need to be the same, which ones you use the back side of. It gives you some artist tips. Does a lot of things for you. Actually, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to come up 1/2 inch and do 3/4 of an inch in. And then I'm going to center this one between the two. That way I have the same amount on both sides. So you guys should check out the books. We have a new one out. It's volume 5. It is amazing. Absolutely incredible. So, and sometimes I modify them a little bit, but they also tell you how many photos are in each, which is really useful. So if you're looking for a certain amount of photos, like I try to get as many as possible, especially for this one because we have so many kids, and there's 15 grandkids, there's 5 great-grands, and 6 kids and spouses. So there's quite a few of us. So I'm going to just leave, I don't know, it's about an inch, 3/4 of an inch to an inch. Why is it so skewed? Okay. There, that looks better. And I think these will be fun photo mats. But if you're new to scrapbooking like me, then these are amazing to have. So I have about an inch in between all of these. Okay. Now I'm going to put my journaling. This is my journaling square over here. And again, I want the light side up, so I'm going to tape the dark side. And the only reason why I'm telling you that is so that I actually do that, or else I tape the wrong side all the time. But then this way it adds some Bluebell in here, and that's part of the book too, is Bluebell. Very pretty. So I will have to, so here's the first page. We're going to start embellishing these. So I'm going to take the sticky off the back of here. And I could always tack it down with 2, that way it doesn't rotate. Sorry if you're shaking. This one's being a bit more stubborn than the last. Okay. Now I could have it so that this one goes like this next to the one that goes like, this one would go like this. Okay, which actually, I kind of like that one better. That's how I wanted it anyway, actually. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp because I am a card maker at heart. And I've been a card maker most of my life with my mother. So I always helped her with the Christmas cards. So a couple of the stamp sets that I have looked at using, I think I'm going to use this one. This is from 2019, November 2019. This is actually the one of the first stamp sets I ever bought from Close to My Heart. I love it. And this is what made me fall in love with Close to My Heart, or these stamps. Who doesn't like to see where they're stamping? I will never go back to a wooden block. Unless it is like, oh my gosh, have to have type of stamp. Okay, so I'm going to use this family. So this one's going to, because this is a family book anyway, so I know that that's going to be applicable no matter what photos I do. And I'm going to put it down here. Okay, so and I think I'm going to use Blue Belle on this one. But before I do, let me move my other book page because I don't want to get it nastified and smudged and have to try to figure out how to cover my issues up. Okay, so since it's on the Versamat, I don't need the little foam. I can use it, but I don't need it. Especially since this isn't a solid stamp. If it's a solid stamp, I do put my foam underneath, even if I am using my backside of my Versamat. I always double foam on solid stamps. So rub, rub, tap, 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 get it all nice and inked. I always look at my stamp, make sure my block, make sure that I'm not smudgy, so I don't get anything on anything else. And I'm just going to come up here and I'm just going to kind of, you know me, I'm a guesstimator. I'm going to put it pretty much in the middle of here, which is my white space down below. Firm pressure. Oh, I got a fuzz on it. Well, that's okay. I'll figure something out. Like I said, I don't really like covering up boo-boos, but I'm good at it. I'm quite proficient at it. Okay. I could always come in and do a different label too there, but I think what I'm going to do next is, I don't think it'll cover it up, but that's okay. I'm going to use Toffee next. Because I don't have, I could add sage green into this album, and I might ultimately, because it kind of needs some green, it seems like, and sage is just a nice extra little touch. But I'm going to be using this guy here next, and this is new to be used. I've used Family and Grateful before, but I haven't used this one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple Toffies, one down here and then one coming up here, so it kind of frames this family. And I could do it centered. I don't know if I want it centered. I might do it centered. Let's try it centered, or at least as centered as Dawn gets, because I don't like to measure. So there's that one. Sure I don't have any smudgies. I think that looks really good. Kind of frames the family, makes it a little bit more embellished down there. And I may take a shimmer pin and just shimmer it. And that would be like really rough, like a smudgy type of shimmer. It won't be clean shimmer. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to use on this one, let's put stamp back before I forget. I said, where is it? Okay, I'm going to be using Daisy Meadows. And this is the scrapbooking stamp set. But I have a couple already cut. So I used them for a card, and then I always cut extra when I cut. So I actually have quite a few extra, so I think I'm going to use these. So these are the little pieces I have. These are flowers, so I have quite a few of those. And these are leaves. My leaves I'm going to do in Toffee. My flowers I think I'm going to do in Blue Belle. Maybe I'll just do black, because that way I can color them in however I want. And whenever I plan on coloring something in, I always use Intense, always. Okay, so, and the leaves on this guy, on the Daisy Meadows, are solid, so I definitely don't want black on those. So I'm going to be using, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be using Toffee on those. Okay, so I'm going to move this off to the side. I'm going to bring these guys over. These are my flowers. I want 3 of them. I have 4 cut. So there's probably one here. I double cut. I don't know if you guys do that with your machines, but I'm going to go ahead and stamp them all, because really I'm going to be coloring these flowers anyway. So I'm just going to stamp it, and then that way it's ready to color whenever I'm ready to use it. Okay, and I used it once, but that is all. So I'm going to rough it up again on my hand, prime it again, get that stickiness off, and then I'm just going to come in stamp these. Again, I'm using Intense. It's a very quick drying ink, so that way I can come back in and color almost immediately. And when you color with, I'm going to be coloring either with watercolor or markers. If you color with markers, you just want to make sure that you realize that they go through the paper, they bleed through, so don't do it right on your project. That's all I'm getting at, because you'll have to fix a boo-boo. Okay, so now that I have these guys, and I'm only going to do 3 because these are going to go in Toffee, and I don't really. Now I could also do, I could always introduce peacock and sage, or peacock and glacier, or something like that. I could always incorporate those colors, because those peacock's a really dark green, which I really like. That's probably why they used it with the Daisy Meadows. But I did some leaves with for my Daisy Meadows workshop that were in the peacock color, and I did 2nd generation, and they turn out so pretty. So, but I think I'm gonna see how this looks first. I don't want it to look dead either. And that's the problem with browns, is they can look dead. So I don't really want that. Okay, so there's one. Actually, it doesn't look that bad, but I'm gonna layer them something like this, and we're gonna put them down the sides of my project. So could always do a 2nd generation, but I also think I have a toddler who's awake. She is good at being awake, isn't she? Hopefully she goes to sleep. I don't know if you guys have early risers, but or have had early risers. My daughter likes to get up at like 5:30. She's crazy. Well, I guess she's as crazy as her mother. Her mother gets up really early too, so. Okay, so there's my pieces there. I'm going to go ahead and cover up my ink pads. I'm going to start getting these on here. Okay. So I just kind of want to line them out, see what I'm going to do. So I definitely want it like this, but I think what I'm going to do is, I might have a couple coming down. Stick a flower in between. I don't know. The other option is, I may have to play with this off screen, but the other option is like that, and then have this flower. So, in case you, I don't know if you can see that. This one right here, that one, is the one I'm trying to show you. It's not working. Maybe put it, I think I'm going to do that instead. So I'm going to leave these in my little pack. They're already stamped. They're ready to be colored, but I think I'm going to do that. So I'm just looking for like little elegant touches. Again, he's 99 right now, turning 100. I don't really want a whole lot of stuff on here. The other thing I could do is I could always have these coming down like this, and then put it in the middle there. But I kind of like it coming out like that. So I think I'm going to do that. So I'll do that off camera because I got to cut this thin cut. And then on the other side I will do something similar. So I probably will need this one stamped, the one that I didn't stamp before. But I'll show you what I'm going to do on the other side. Because I do want this, a similar thing on the other side. Okay, so, but it's going to go down by the journal. So it's going to come off the journal. So it's going to be down here, something like that. Okay, so that you guys can see how it's going to go. So this way it'll drag your eye across the page. You have some coordinating flowers on both sides. And I may put another one up here. So then I put that one and then put another one more or less like that, and I'm going to pop them up so that you guys can understand where my thought process is going. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and cut these off screen, get this finished up, and hopefully post it today. If I don't post it today, you guys will see the pictures tomorrow. And if I'm going to probably sign off here because this video is long enough. And I hope you guys have a wonderful Easter or Easter weekend. Today's Saturday, so have a wonderful Easter weekend and happy Easter tomorrow. And we will see you on Wednesday. Have a good one. Bye.